Imagine this. You're a surgeon, you've just finished a grueling 13-hour shift saving lives, and now you're cooking an elaborate meal for your husband? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what Dr. Shan did, and the internet lost its mind. But here's the real question. Is she a domestic goddess or a victim of outdated gender roles? Before we dive deeper, let's watch the video that sparked this fiery debate. Take a look and pay attention to your initial reaction. Depressed, confused, maybe even a little outraged? Now that you've seen it, stick around because we're about to unpack the simmering controversy that's got everyone from feminists to traditionalists fired up. You might think you know where you stand on this, but trust me, this story has more layers than Dr. Shan's perfectly fried fish. So, before you jump to conclusions or reach for that takeout menu, let's dive into the juicy details of the cooking controversy that's setting social media ablaze. Cue the internet outrage. Comments flooded in faster than you can say gender equality. One user wrote, "Girl, that's so crazy," while another quipped, "Do I really want a husband?" The word expect seemed to hit a particularly raw nerve. But here's where it gets interesting. Dr. Shan fired back, explaining that she actually prefers to cook because, plot twist, she doesn't like her husband's culinary creations. She also mentioned that he contributes in ways we don't see on camera. Suddenly it's not so black and white, is it? This controversy taps into some major hot-button issues. How much have gender roles really changed? Are we judging too quickly based on a 60-second video? And the million-dollar question, in a world where we're striving for equality, is it okay for a partner to expect anything? Let's rewind a bit. Historically, household roles were often as rigidly defined as the lines on a cookbook page. Women were typically expected to handle cooking and other domestic tasks, even if they worked outside the home. But society has evolved faster than a microwave meal. Today, many couples aim for a more equitable division of labor. Studies show that relationships where both partners share household responsibilities tend to report higher levels of satisfaction. But here's the kicker. What works for one couple might be a recipe for disaster for another. Now let's add another ingredient to this mix. Dr. Shan isn't just any wife, she's a surgeon. Some viewers seemed particularly riled up by the idea of a high-achieving career woman taking on traditional domestic roles. It raises the question, are we putting too much pressure on women to do it all? On the flip side, what about men? A 2019 survey found that 69% of American men reported cooking at home regularly. That's a lot of dudes donning aprons. But despite this progress, women still tend to do more housework on average, even when both partners work full-time. It's a phenomenon known as the second shift, and it's still causing indigestion in many relationships. So what's the takeaway from this cooking controversy? First off, there's no one perfect recipe for a relationship. What matters most is that both partners feel respected, valued, and satisfied with their arrangement. Secondly, communication is key. Couples need to discuss their expectations, preferences, and how they can support each other's goals. It's like following a recipe. You need to know what ingredients you're working with. Lastly, let's remember that social media is often just the appetizer, not the main course. Before we judge others' relationships, we should acknowledge that there's usually a lot more going on behind the scenes. This controversy has certainly given us food for thought about gender roles, work-life balance, and equality in relationships. It's a complex topic with no easy answers, but discussing it openly can lead to positive change. So what do you think? Is Dr. Shan's post-shift cooking a symbol of love or a step backwards for equality? How do you and your partner divvy up the domestic duties? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, every relationship is unique. The key is finding a balance that works for you and your partner based on mutual respect, understanding, and support. And hey, if all else fails, there's always takeout. Now it's your turn to stir the pot. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more sizzling topics. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How do you balance the relationship recipe? Share this video and keep the conversation cooking. Until next time, remember, in love and in the kitchen, it's all about finding the right mix. See you at the next serving.
Oh.